How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about SoFi's infinite money hack. This is something I discovered myself with a lot of trial and error, so I'm going to describe how it's done. Usually on social media, when they talk about infinite money hacks, it's sort of illegal because, once they find out about it, the bank is going to claw it back. But in this case, let me tell you, it's completely legal, although I think it might not always be valid because sometimes they might say, hey, we don't like the way you are manipulating this in order to get more than 1%. But I would have to say that after I make this video, it might not last very long. Under SoFi's bank ecosystem, they have a lot of different things such as checking account, savings account, investment account, and they even have credit cards, and you can even get a loan from them. Now, before you get too excited, oh, infinite money hack, oh my gosh, I'm going to get billions of dollars, we're all going to be rich. The reality is you can get 1% of all your liquid assets just right now, and you can repeat this every 2 years unless they plug up this hole, of course. But I think they won't, because this is actually very advantageous for them in order to get more assets into their bank. The ingredients to this requires a couple of things. You need to get their checking or savings account. You need to get their investment account, and also have to be enrolled in their SoFi Plus account. And in order to get the SoFi Plus, you either pay $10 a month, which is totally worth it, or you can have a recurring direct deposit, which may take a little bit more time in order to activate it. The direct deposit does not require any amount as long as it's a recurring deposit into your SoFi checking or savings account. Then you would get knocked into the SoFi Plus account, and then you can have all these benefits. Now, of course, I am telling you guys these because, of course, I want the referrals for the checking and savings and also the investment account. So check out my referral links down in the video description below if you guys decide to do this to get your 1%. Once you get your SoFi Plus account, you get 3.8% APY on SoFi savings, credit card cash back boost, 2x reward points, and the fourth one is what caught my eye: 1% match on all recurring invest deposits. You can take a look at the rest of the benefits over here, but they're not as interesting because I like 1% on recurring deposits. Let's take a look at what this 1% really says in the fine print. 1% match on all invest deposits. SoFi Plus members earn an unlimited, that's a key word here, 1% match paid on rewards points. These rewards points actually you can deposit into your checking or savings account. Every point is 1 penny, so it's basically cash. On recurring deposits to any SoFi Invest self-directed or robo-investing account, including retirement accounts. Bonus calculated on monthly net recurring deposits via ACH. This means that if you deposit $10,000 and then you take $10,000 out, the net is zero, therefore you're not going to get anything. Withdrawals impact rewards points. Please note, benefits offered by SoFi Invest come with their own risk. They're not FDIC insured, not guaranteed by SoFi Bank, and may lose value. When it says it's not FDIC insured, it's actually SIPC insured up to $500,000. The assets themselves may lose value depending on what you invest in. So that's why it says it's not guaranteed by SoFi Bank and may lose value. And the SIPC covers up to $500,000 of account value and up to $250,000 of cash inside the invest account. So the total value of the account can be $500,000, and you can have up to $250,000 in cash not invested, and you'll still be protected. At face value, it might look like you put $10,000 into your SoFi checking account, and then you set up a recurring deposit from the checking account into your invest account. Okay, so that sounds great and all. $10,000 goes into invest, 1% of that is $100. You keep on doing this over and over again every single month, you get $100. But the way I'm describing in this video is to try to move your entire account from somewhere else into SoFi. You can either put it into the checking or savings account, and then you create a recurring transfer from the checking or the savings account into the invest account. But when you go to set up the recurring transfer, you can only do it weekly, every 2 weeks, or every month. So it limits you on how fast you can do the transfer because there is a $50,000 limit on this. So if you have a sizable account, let's say $500,000 in Robinhood or something, my idea is to try to transfer all this via this 1% recurring transfer quickly into the SoFi Invest account. And how do you do this? First, you transfer all the cash from the Robinhood account into the SoFi checking account or savings. I like putting it in the savings because you get 3.8% APY while the money is sitting there waiting for transfer. Then you set up a monthly transfer and you select the date as close as possible to the current date. So you can set it up, let's say like $50,000 for 2 days in advance, and it'll still transfer in the same month, like in 2 days. So let's say you have $100,000 cash. You transfer into the savings account. You do a $50,000 transfer from the savings account into the invest account. Boom, right there. $50,000, 1% of that is $500. Once it finished doing that transfer, you go back into the recurring transfer, the schedule, and then you edit it. You change the date to, like another day or two in advance. And actually it will transfer in the same month. It won't wait until the next month. So if you time it properly, you can actually transfer $50,000 30 times a month. You can keep on doing this. So that's about like $1.5 million of asset value. And 1% of that is $15,000. So if you have a huge account, you can transfer all that in. And then you get 1% on all of it. This is really great, right? So the reason I call it infinite money is because you can keep on doing this. Every 2 years, of course. The fine print in this recurring transfer thing is that once they give you the money, there is a 2-year vest period. So you have to keep the money in there for 2 years. If you have any money sitting in any other brokerage account that is not locked up by any other kind of 1% transfer scheme, then this is a really great time to transfer all that money into the SoFi account and then do this, looping recurring transfer, and you get your 1%. They intend this, of course, for you to put your salary in there and just kind of let it do its thing, and you get, let's say your salary is $10,000, you only get $100 every single month, right? But if you do this, giant inflow of money from another brokerage account, $15,000, that sounds way better than $100 a month because you're not limited by, just your salary amount. Now, let me address another issue here. You might go, hey, in my other account, if I need to liquidate it all, then I don't want to pay, capital gains tax and whatever, right? So what you can do is if you have, let's say some amount of cash in another account, you transfer it in, or let's say you have, some cash laying around for you to facilitate this thing. You put some other money in. Once you have an amount of money in your SoFi Invest account that's in cash, what you can do is buy that asset that is in your other account right now, and right after you buy it, you go and sell it in the other account, right? Essentially, you get to keep your assets. You're not, selling it and letting it sit. Possibly there will be a really good day on the stock market and it goes up 10% and you're going to lose out, right? So you can buy the assets that you're going to sell in your other account, buy that amount that you have in there, sell that amount that you have in the other brokerage account, and then you can liquidate the money, transfer it into your savings account in cash, and then you can do this recurring transfer into your SoFi Invest account. Then you can keep on doing this till all the amount in the other brokerage account is completely liquidated and transferred in. In the end, you get 1% of the entire account. And when you do it this way, you buy it right before you sell it, it's gonna trigger a wash sale rule. This means that you did not really sell the asset. You just changed the basis on those assets that you bought in the SoFi account. I know this is kind of complicated, but when you have a sizable account somewhere else that's not earning any money and it's not locked in, you might want to consider this. 1% of $500,000 is $5,000. Just right there. I guess there's all this mumbo jumbo of, clicking, a lot of mouse clicking, a lot of transferring, and then you have to keep track of the basis in the SoFi Invest account. But personally, I think 1% is really great, and it's well worth this little loop that you have to jump through in order to get this. This is kind of what I do. I kind of get a kick out of it whenever I look at something. Sometimes I see an opportunity to convert 1% recurring invest deposits into a kind of like an account transfer bonus deposit that is unlimited. Another thing is within Robinhood, sometimes they have money locked up, right? Because they had these 1% transfer in bonus as well, and they just keep on paying you. At some point, the remaining value in the Robinhood account is probably less than 1% of your total account value. So at that point, you might want to weigh how much additional money that you're going to get if you're going to move it all to SoFi. Let's say you have $100,000 in Robinhood and $500 that's still waiting to be vested. If you do the transfer today and get 1%, it becomes $1,000. You lose out on the $500 that you're going to get in Robinhood, but you're going to get $1,000 from SoFi. So the delta here is you're going to get $500 more in addition to what Robinhood is going to give you. So you might kind of look at that and go, okay, well, I'll give up on that and transfer my money to SoFi anyway. Once you do this, you're going to get a 2-year lockup period. And the way I think of these things, it's not so bad. You're like, oh, 2 years, it's so long. You do this today and you just kind of forget about it for 2 years. And then you're like, hey, okay, that money is vested now. The money comes roughly on the 4th to 6th of the next month after you do the transfer. And it comes as points in your SoFi account. Once you get the points, you can just deposit those points into your checking or savings. And right there, it becomes cash. If you guys do it, it's worth thousands of dollars. And I personally earned thousands myself. So after I did it, I'm like, hey, this is such a great idea. Let me share it with you guys. If you guys do sign up, check out my referral link for SoFi checking or savings or the SoFi Invest account as well. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more. Sorry for the bad audio. I just want to add this little tidbit. As I was editing this, I realized I missed a few pieces of critical information. The points that you get, it vests immediately. But if you take out the money later on, they'll take out the cash. For the Robinhood deposits, they actually pay you out over a 24-month period. So you do not get this all front end loaded right at the beginning. When you do the SoFi thing, you get it all right now. So you can use that money to invest, do whatever you want with it. Personally, I used it to pay off my credit card bill. The other point is that when you have the recurring transfer set at $50,000, you don't want to leave it and then suddenly forget. And then, the next month it tries to withdraw $50,000 from your savings account and you don't have that money in there. So what I personally do is after it does the transfer and I know there's no money in there, I always change it back to $1 so that even if it does a recurring transfer, it's just going to take $1 from the savings account and put it into SoFi Invest. Make sure you have at least, let's say, $10 in there. Don't drain it dry to zero. So you can forget about it for like 10 months and, it'll just keep on recurring transfer and it'll be like, oh, okay. Because sometimes when you do a transfer and there's no money in there, you actually get dinged. There's some sort of fee for, insufficient funds or something. So use that. Hope this helps.